My cousin Yuki told me this story the night before she transferred school. She was a third-year student at Sakuragaoka Middle School in Osaka. The girls' bathroom on the third floor. It had a reputation. Everyone knew about Hanako-san, but nobody really believed. Until Yuki decided to test it herself. It was after cleaning duty around 6 p.m. The school was empty, or so she thought. She knocked 3 times on the third stall door. Hanako-san, Hanako-san, are you there? She laughed at herself and turned to leave. That's when she heard it. A small voice, like a child's whisper. Yes! Yuki's blood froze. The stall door, it was still closed, but there were small feet visible underneath. Red shoes, like the ones elementary students wore 50 years ago. But as she reached the bathroom door, it slammed shut. The handle wouldn't turn. Behind her, the stall door creaked open. Yuki pressed her face against the bathroom door, not daring to look back. She heard small footsteps getting close. Do you want to play with me? The voice asked. Yuki squeezed her eyes shut and whispered every prayer she knew. When she opened them, the door handle turned. She burst out and ran all the way home. The next morning, she found something in her school bag. A small origami crane made from toilet paper. Written on it in red ink was a single word. Friend. Yuki transferred schools the very next week. She never told me what else Hanako-san said to her that night. But sometime, I still see her checking over her shoulder in public bathroom. This happened to my senpai during his final year at Tohoku High School. He was part of the astronomy club, which met on the 4th floor. But everyone knew the main staircase only had 12 steps in each floor. Count them during the day, 12 steps every time. But at night, some students swore there was a 13th. My senpai Takeshi thought it was ridiculous. Until the night he stayed late to observe the lunar eclipse. He was descending the staircase around midnight, counting out of habit, 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12. His foot found another step, 13. He stopped, confused. This wasn't possible. He turned on his phone's flashlight and looked down. The 13th step, it was different. Older concrete, stained with something dark. As he stood there, he heard footsteps above him. Slow, deliberate coming down. But when he looked up, the staircase was empty. The footsteps continued getting closer. He counted them, 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12. The invisible presence stopped right above the 13th step. Takeshi felt something brush past him. Cold air and the smell of old concrete dust. He stumbled backward and ran up to the 4th floor. When he finally worked up the courage to go back down, there were only 12 steps again. But in the morning, the janitor found something strange. Wet footprints on the staircase leading nowhere. They counted 13 steps worth of print. Takeshi never stayed late at school again. But he told me something else. Sometimes when he walks up those stairs during the day, he still counts 13 steps, even though everyone else only counts 12. My music teacher told me this story during my last piano lesson. It happened at Yamakawa High School, where she used to teach. The music room had an old upright piano, beautiful Yamaha from the 1960s. During the day it played perfect, but at night, that's when things got strange. Students reported hearing piano music after hours, always the same piece. Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. My teacher Yamamoto-sensei thought it was just students practicing late. Until one night she decided to check. She stayed behind after the evening faculty meeting. Around 11 p.m. she heard it begin. The familiar opening note, hauntingly beautiful. She walked quietly to the music room. The door was closed, but not locked. She opened it slowly and froze. The piano was playing by itself. The keys moved up and down, but no one was there. The pedals pressed themselves in perfect rhythm. But as she watched, she began to see something. The faintest outline of hand, translucent fingers moving across the key, and then a silhouette in the piano bed. A girl in an old-fashioned school uniform, her back turned. Yamamoto-sensei wanted to run, but the music was so beautiful. She found herself stepping into the room. The ghostly figure continued playing, unaware of her presence. But as the sonata reached its climax, the girl's head began to turn. Yamamoto-sensei saw her face in the moonlight. It was Akiko Matsuda, a student who had died in a car accident 3 years before. The girl smiled sadly and whispered, "I never got to finish my recital." The music stopped abruptly. The room fell silent. Yamamoto-sensei stood alone with the piano. But on the music stand, there was a sheet of paper that wasn't there before. Moonlight Sonata with handwritten notes in Akiko's careful script. The school moved the piano to storage the next week, but even now, sometimes at night, people passing by the building still hear Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. This story comes from a medical school prep student in Kyoto. His name was Hiroshi, and he was obsessed with becoming a doctor. He would stay after school every day, studying in the biology lab. The lab had all the usual equipment, microscopes, preserved specimens, and standing in the corner was Kenji, full-body anatomy model. The students had nicknamed him Kenji years ago. He was old, probably from the 1980s, with yellowed plastic skin. All the organs were removable for study. Hiroshi spent so much time with Kenji that he started talking to him. "Good evening, Kenji. Let's study the cardiovascular system tonight." It was just a joke at first, but one night, while Hiroshi was reviewing his note, he heard a soft thud from across the room. Kenji's plastic heart had fallen to the floor. Strange, Hiroshi was sure he'd secured all the organs properly. He walked over and picked up the heart. As he placed it back in position, Kenji's plastic eyes seemed to follow him. Hiroshi shook his head and returned to his desk. A few minutes later, another thud. This time it was the liver. Then the kidneys. One by one, Kenji's organs were falling out. Hiroshi stood up, frustrated. "What's wrong with you tonight, Kenji?" The model's head turned slightly toward him. Hiroshi froze. That couldn't have happened. The model's head was fixed in place, couldn't move. But as he watched, Kenji's mouth opened. A whispered voice came from the plastic throat. "I'm tired of being studied." Hiroshi's textbook fell from his hand. Kenji's arms, they were moving now, reaching up to his own chest cavity. The model began pulling out his own organ, one by one. "You want to study me?" the voice whispered. "Then study this." Hiroshi ran from the lab and never returned. The next morning, the biology teacher found all of Kenji's organs scattered across the floor. But the model itself was smiling. They never could get that smile to go away. My friend Saki experienced this during her second year at Kansai Girls Academy. It's an all-girls school with strict rules and old traditions. The bathroom mirrors on the second floor, they had a dark reputation. Girls would whisper about seeing things that shouldn't be there, faces that didn't belong to anyone in the room. Saki thought it was just gossip until it happened to her. She was washing her hands during lunch break. The bathroom was empty, or so she thought. In the mirror's reflection, she saw herself alone. But as she reached for the paper towel, another face appeared behind her reflection. A girl she'd never seen before. Long black hair covering most of her face. But what Saki could see was horrible. The girl's skin was pale, almost blue. Her eyes were completely black, and her mouth, it was open in a silent scream. Saki spun around, but nobody was behind her. She looked back at the mirror, and the face was still there, staring directly at her. The girl's mouth began to move, forming words, but no sound came out. Saki could read her lips, though. "Help me." Then the face began to change, the features shifting, morphing, until it looked exactly like Saki herself. But with those same black eyes, that same silent scream. Saki backed toward the door, but it wouldn't open. In the mirror, her reflection raised its hand and pressed it against the glass from the inside. Saki could see the handprint, but it wasn't on her side of the mirror. Her reflection was trying to push through. The glass began to ripple like water. Saki closed her eyes and screamed for help. When a teacher finally unlocked the door, they found Saki collapsed on the floor. But the mirror, it was cracked. 7 years of bad luck, they said. But Saki knew it was something much worse. Sometimes, even now, she catches glimpses of that other version of herself. Still trapped, still screaming silently, still trying to break through to our world.